Hello and welcome to a not so awesome review, and today we're looking at Batman Volume 1, I Am Gotham by Tom King and David Finch. And man, I did a review on the Rebirth issue that came out and the Batman issue 1 that came out. Both of them were pretty good. I would say the Rebirth issue was really well done because it shows, and it is in here, by the way, in case anyone's wondering, Rebirth issue 1 and then issue 1 through 6 of Batman. So we get 7 issues total. The Rebirth issue was done really well. It showed a crisis that Batman didn't know if he could stop. That wasn't, like an attack on Gotham. Well, I mean, it was technically a little bit of an attack, but it was more of a. It could have very much have just been a natural disaster that he was trying to stop, basically, and he didn't know if he could. And then we get introduced to Gotham and Gotham Girl, who are essentially Superman in a way. They have, superpowers. They can fly, they're fast, they're strong, but they're untrained. They're not really used to, I guess, fighting crime. And that does come up here later. Batman does decide to kind of keep an eye on them, somewhat train them, keep them, close to see if he can trust them or not. And I think the story involving them is really well done. It was an interesting story. We get to see an origin for Gotham, and I think the story in it was really well. At first when you're reading it, you're wondering if this is just another flashback, but the way it ends, it's not another flashback. It's just very similar to somebody else's origin. And, the way things progress through the 6 issues is really good, but it could have been better. Um, the thing is, we don't, they could have established, basically is what I'm trying to get at. They could have established Gotham's character and Gotham Girl's character so much better if this went on for another, even 2 issues, though I think, honestly, ideally for the ending they got, because the ending of the 6th issue, once we get there, it's actually really well done. I really liked it. I think, that kind of situation could have been expanded more. I am talking without trying to spoil things. I'll probably get into spoilers pretty soon, but the way the ending was, it was really well. Though that could have, taken another issue. That could have been a 2-part issue, which would have been awesome. My main thing here is that I really wish that the characters had more time to grow before we got to the climax of this story arc. Meaning, we could have had Batman and Gotham team up and fight at least 1 or 2 different supervillains or something, and had those be their own, even 2-issue stories. That would have been really good, just so we can become somewhat more attached to the character, learn a little bit more about them, like them a little bit more, and I think that would have really helped the story here because it feels a little rushed. I know that this ties in once we get, we get some hints into Night of the Monster Men in this one, and it ties into, that's like the first Batman event we've gotten, and I feel like they were just rushing to get to that event. The reason I say this is because once you see my review, which I will be doing next on the Detective Comics issue, it's kind of the same problem. Detective Comics Volume 1 for the Rebirth, they it feels like they rushed it again. They could have expanded that story and made, this story and the Detective Comics story both, they could have had them intertwined a little bit and just made it another 6 issues, make it, 12 issues for the Batman, 12 issues for Detective Comics, maybe done a mini crossover where Gotham shows up in that one, or, the Batman's team shows up in this series or something, and not done the whole Monster Men thing. I know it's a little bit off topic because that's another review waiting to happen after these 2. But yeah, I just feel like this could have been expanded and it would have been a lot better. Now, art-wise, I think it's good. The art, I think, looks great. I think the writing is done really well. I did enjoy it. I would give it a 4 out of 5. It's definitely something I would recommend. If you're new to Batman, I still would say go back and read the whole New 52 run and then get to this. Even though you don't have to do any of that, you could start here. Just the New 52 run was actually really good. I really do like it. So either way, but you start here, you start there. This is definitely something recommended. Uh, Only other gripe isn't even with the issue, with not the issue, but the volume itself, is the fact that DC will be releasing a deluxe version of this, which will come with the next 6 issues, and it's going to be in hardcover. It's going to cost a little bit more, but it's kind of like why I just they're doing paperback and then hardcover, and I really wanted to read this because I didn't read the issue, so I picked this up, and I know I'm gonna get the hardcover. I'm gonna try and hold off on getting volume 2 of the paperback, but it's just a little annoying that they did that because I I really do. If anyone knows, I like getting hardcover books. I know it costs a little bit more, but when all the New 52 books were coming out, it would always be hardcover. Then we get a paperback a few months later. Now they're doing kind of what Marvel does, where they'll release a few paperbacks and then release a hardcover. But at least when Marvel does it, they take forever, and sometimes we don't even know if a hardcover is coming. It just kind of appears there. But yeah, art good, story good, but could have been better, which is why it's a 4 out of 5. And getting into some spoilers here. So if, you haven't read this or you don't want to have any spoilers go on, just I guess click off now. But spoiler wise, what I gotta say is that kind of like what I was alluding to before is Gotham's character could have been written into a few more stories and done so much better because he becomes likable a little bit. Like I didn't feel attached to his character enough to when we got to the ending where the Justice League comes in and they all have to fight him and try and stop him, where what happens to his family in like near the end of the story arc happens, that I was like, yeah, that's sad, it really is, but I don't know you that well. I'm not attached to this character. It feels like you were written in here, and I was just starting to get to know this character. He was starting to seem really cool, and then all of a sudden he's gone, and it's like, oh, okay, well, that was sad. That was a cool battle in the end, and I think what would have been awesome is if his battle with Superman had lasted longer, and his battle with the Justice League in general had lasted longer, would have been so much better. And that is one of my biggest complaints, is the fact that they did not utilize this new character to his fullest potential. I know the point is, Gotham Girl is still around. She's having issues because of what happened. She's still afraid of everything. She hasn't gotten rid of that, and it's like, why did you do all this so fast? You introduced these characters, give them a few issues, give them a backstory that was really good, and then you take one away right away and leave the other one somewhat useless. I'm not saying that she is, but the way their powers work and everything, she's not someone who we're going to see too much of, at least I assume. I know she makes an appearance in Night of the Monster Men, but I don't know. It's just, why would you do that? Why would you, there is like a shock value from when you introduce a new character sometimes and then you just kill them off right away. I can understand that, but I don't know. I feel like it wasn't there in this series. He wasn't established well enough. I think another 6 issues with Gotham in it would have been enough to make people want him to stay, maybe even make people think, okay, he deserves his own series or something, and not just to be killed off at the end of the 6th issue. And it's disappointing. That's pretty much all I'm saying. It's disappointing. They could have done better. I do feel like it was rushed to meet up with DC Comics, Detective Comics, I should say, and have that event for Night of the Monster Men happen, which, they allude a little bit to it. We have that guy who kills himself in Gordon's office, and he says, the Monster Men are coming. that would have been awesome to hear for a year. I know that, sometimes it's kind of annoying when a comic book alludes to something and it takes forever to get to it. But, having things like that happen, like just random people saying that throughout a year of Batman would have been awesome. Different characters coming in being either freaked out or nervous that the monster men are coming, which, by the way, that I'm not going to get into it in this review. Check out the Night of the Monster Men review when it comes out. It wasn't a good event. There's so many issues with that event that just makes it even more sad that this kind of ends after 6 issues and then that happens, and it's like, well, it wasn't even that great of an event. I would have waited a year to be disappointed just to have a better story arc here. At least that's my opinion on it. But anyways, that is my review for Batman I Am Gotham. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I might try and do more spoiler stuff near the end of videos. I'm not really sure. I might even switch the format back to kind of how I used to film these, where I really only show the comic book volume, whatever you want to call it, the graphic novel trade. Just because it'll be easier to film and I'll probably be able to get some of these out a lot faster. Had a few issues. I lost like an HDMI cable that goes to my camera, and anybody who knows how I record, I use the Elgato to my laptop, so that kind of was an issue. I had to order one of those. Right now, my laptop battery is not doing good. It's actually dying. I don't think I'll be able to film a second review. I'm gonna try to, but yeah, it's kind of annoying. So, issues, stuff, but hopefully I'll be getting more of these reviews out. And another thing I'm looking forward to is the Joker Mezco figure. I'm waiting for it in the mail to do a review on that because it looks awesome and it's Joker, and obviously I like Batman, if you can't tell. So yeah, anyways, thanks for watching again. I will see you guys later.